Okay. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Parks meeting, which is just about ready to start. My name is Barbara Stronzer, and I am the chair of the Parks Committee for Community Board 7. All right, the first thing I would like to do is to read our guidelines, so I'll begin with that. On April 20th, 2023, Mayor Adams issued Executive Order 387 extending the state of emergency through May 20th, 2023. Accordingly, boards are able to continue to act under the state of emergency section of the video conferencing law. This allows the board to continue remotely. Minutes and video recording will be made available on our website. All right, controls are as follows. If you are connecting from a landline or a cell, to hear all the available commands and to star on your phone, *6 to mute or unmute yourself, *9 to virtually raise your hand. We will run this meeting in the following way. Bronx Community Board 7 has the right to remove and or ask a member of the public to leave a meeting or block participation of anyone who engages in inappropriate conduct, including but not limited to obscene or offensive images or language, personal attacks, threats, or any other behavior that reasonably impedes the orderly administration of the meeting. Repeated offenses will be reviewed by the board's executive committee or any other assigned committee for a band of the participant. The amount of time to be objectively determined by the above committee in the event of repeated disruptive behavior. If in-person outbursts or attacks continue, this will be considered disturbing the peace and the authorities will be summoned. Everyone beside the speaker or presenter will stay muted throughout the meeting. After each presentation is over, I will inquire if committee members have questions. Committee members will signify that they have a question by pressing the raised hand button on your screen or request to speak through the chat or when the chair opens the floor. Members of the public who have joined through the online link will be able to ask questions and make a brief statement on the item after each presentation and after the committee has had an opportunity to ask clarifying questions by pressing the raised hand button on your screen or request to speak through the chat or when the chair opens the floor. Only those recognized by the chair of the committee will be allowed to speak during the allotted time. We will stay on topic with the agenda items. Any other items will be acknowledged by the chair in new business or addressed at the next meeting, granted there is time and the committee agrees on the topic. Following the questions, discussion, and public comment portion, the committee will begin their discussion after each presentation or agenda item and will conclude with the decision to vote on a recommendation. When the agenda is finished, the meeting will be adjourned. If there are any questions related to software or to our process, please use the chat function or raised hand function or contact our district manager. Okay, thank you. All right, we'll move on to attendance. All right, Barbara is here, I'm present. Tasha Andrews? Tasha? Betty Arce?
Betty Arce present.
Thank you. Daisy Perry?
Daisy Perry present.
Thank you. Gwendolyn Thomas Steed? Gwendolyn?
Gwendolyn present. Gwendolyn Thomas Steed
Okay.
present.
Thank you. Ruth
Thank you.
Ruth Caraballo?
Ruth Caravallo present.
Thank you. And Toby Buford?
Toby Buford present.
Okay, we have a quorum. That's good. All right, next item will be our minutes from last month's meeting. Okay, and that's our April 12th meeting. I'll scroll slowly. Okay, we had a discussion on the Van Cortlandt pedestrian bridge, which would connect the eastern and the western ends of the park. Nothing has been decided yet, so we will hear back from Parks about that. We asked about summer staffing, which Joe McNeary was not able to give us at that point, so hopefully tonight we'll hear something more. We had a representative from the 1 Million More Trees who told us about the organization, and we had a motion regarding a pride flag. All right, and we discussed our capital and expense budget responses. Okay, and then we have reports from the recreation centers and the Friends groups. Okay, do we have a motion to accept the minutes as presented?
Motion to accept the minutes, Daisy.
Okay,
Second, Betty.
okay, Betty, who presented the motion? Please. I didn't write-
Daisy.
Daisy, okay, thank you, Daisy. All right, good. Okay. All right, we'll move on with the agenda. I'm going to skip down to our presenters for tonight. All right, is it Amy or who is presenting?
Yep.
Hi,
Hi, thanks,
Amy,
Barbara.
welcome.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thanks for having us. Yeah, it's going to be myself and a couple of my colleagues on here. I can introduce the team and share my screen if that makes sense.
That's great.
All right. Nice to see you all this evening. Let me see. I might need permission. Oh, nope, I see. Got it. There we go. And let's just make the view. All right, can folks see that okay? Oops.
Not yet.
No?
Okay.
Now we're in business.
Yes, that's
All
you are.
right, great. All right. Well, thank you so much. And thanks for adding us to the agenda tonight on such short notice. We really appreciate the opportunity to give an update on the Tibbetts Brook Daylighting Project. And specifically tonight, we're here to discuss a proposed ULURP action on the MTA Metro North site for an easement acquisition that falls within CB7's district. So I'm here tonight with a couple of my colleagues from the project team. Most of us are in the BEPA division at DEP, which is Bureau of Environmental Planning and Analysis. So myself, I'm the project manager on the Tibbetts Brook project. I have Dana Taplin here, also from BEPA, who's leading the environmental review and ULURP processes with Terrell Estison, also online. And then we have Christina Hook from Hazen and Sawyer joining us as well. She is helping to develop the environmental review process, and Hazen and Sawyer is leading the project design and planning on the overall project. We may have Effie, who I know most of you know from Bureau of Planning and of Public Affairs, joining as well. And then Mitchell Loring from Parks may hop on at some point. So he's the PM on the park side of this project. So it is a partnership between Parks and DEP. I'm going to give a brief overview of the full project, and then I'll pass it to Dana, who will go through specifics on the MTA site. We'll also go over the schedule and give an opportunity for any discussion and questions that you all might have. So to just summarize kind of what the project is, and many of you may have already heard a little bit about it, but the Tibbetts Daylighting Project is anticipated to reduce CSO volume, combined sewer overflow volume, by about 215 to 220 million gallons per year. This is the primary driver of the daylighting portion of this project. It's an infrastructure improvement for water quality under the citywide Open Waters Long-Term Control Plan. But in partnership with Parks, we are also increasing recreational opportunities in the area through the extension of the Greenway, which is the corridor that extends from Van Cortlandt Park to 230th Street in the south. Aspects of the project include modifying the existing pond weir and side weir in Van Cortlandt Park and the existing lake, now called Hester Piro's Mill Pond. It will also be open channel creation. That's what we mean when we say daylighting, which will extend from Van Cortlandt Park South to the Metro North site. The Putnam Greenway extension is from Van Cortlandt Park to West 230th Street. The project will include new and redesigned pedestrian paths within the park itself, and additionally 4 or 5 greenway access points along the CSX corridor, which is the central portion of the project. There's also a connection to the Jerome Park Reservoir, where we will be eliminating some of the flow that is entering the combined sewer currently, to sort of continue reducing that volume. And then there will also be a closed channel and CSO bypass connection within the Metro North site itself. So just giving a little bit more background, we're kind of focusing on the project in 3 distinct parts. The first part is really the improvements to the lake and improvements within Van Cortlandt Park South. And then the second part is the CSX right-of-way. Much of the daylighting will be in this stretch of the project. This is the portion of land that we are acquiring from CSX. We have to date signed the purchase sale agreement and anticipate closing by August of 2024. The third segment is owned by MTA Metro North, which is 230th Street and the southern reaches of the project. This is an area that will be in a closed conduit and integrated with the existing sewer here at that location. Just noting here that prior ULURP was conducted in 2011 to establish parkland within the CSX right-of-way between West 230th and the Bronx Westchester County line. So I know that Parks folks might be interested in just kind of the current status of phase 1, which is really about ecological improvements to the lake or the pond within Van Cortlandt Park. And sort of a current update on where this is that we will be removing about an acre of invasive Phragmites and other invasive shoreline vegetation. Also removal of water chestnut within the pond. There's also going to be a pilot living shoreline project on the western edge of the lake. To date, we have submitted permits to both NYSDEC and U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. DEC permit is pending, but the Army Corps permit has been approved. For this part of the project, we've selected a contractor, Stephen Dubner Landscaping, and work on the lake itself is scheduled to begin in the summer of 2023 with an anticipated cost of $1.5 million. So that's phase 1. And then phase 2 is really about the daylighting and the interventions along the CSX corridor extending into the Metro North site. Design considerations for this part of the project are heavily influenced by community input and feedback, mainly through the Tibbetts Advisory Group, or the TAG, which we've been coordinating with throughout this process. just want to note that we would love CB7 folks to join these meetings. You're always invited and welcome to attend. But throughout these discussions, we've really looked at things like connectivity and circulation, maintenance and access, stream access, how public art can be integrated as part of the project, and the ecology and hydrology. So to the right, these images show the existing conditions of the CSX corridor. This is a view from West 234th Street looking north. And this rendering here is a little further north on West 236th Street, also looking north of the proposed intervention. So this kind of gives you a sense of the look and feel of that narrow proposal along the corridor. As I mentioned, community feedback was essential to framing the phase 2 design. And one way in which we really incorporated a lot of their feedback was in the establishment of access points along the corridor itself. So initial recommendations were developed during preliminary planning in spring of 2022 and refined as part of the advanced conceptual design, which was presented to the TAG in December of 2022. And as I mentioned previously, the corridor itself will include 4 or 5 access points, 5 pending ongoing coordination with a private property owner at West 236th Street. All of the access points are universally accessible. They'll accommodate both pedestrian and bike access. 2 of the access points that you can see here are also being designed to accommodate maintenance vehicles and emergency access as well. We've really worked with the community members and all of the stakeholders, agencies involved to ensure that this project has broader connections to regional transit, bicycle networks, parks, and other neighborhood destinations. So this is just a map showing how this new greenway will be a critical link in the citywide bicycle network, as well as the existing regional and statewide network. And I just wanted to show a couple of renderings because they're fun and exciting and they give you a little bit of a sense of the look and feel of the overall project. So this one is a view from 236th Street looking south with the Major Deegan on the left. It gives some indication of the look and feel in terms of the open channel, the planting palette, as well as the elevated path that will be transversing the majority of the corridor. This second rendering is a little closer to the MTA site that we'll be discussing in more detail. This shows a view from West 230th Street looking north. And this is the future easement is just south of this location. So I just wanted to note that, as previously mentioned, the project team has conducted robust stakeholder engagement throughout the planning and design process. Much of this engagement has been through the TAG. These meetings are always open to the public. We also extend the invites to the borough president as well as the council members. All of the public presentations that we've presented thus far are available on DEP's Tibbetts Brook Daylighting website. I can send a link in the chat. And our next overall project milestone will be a presentation to Community Board 8 on the preliminary design. This meeting will precede the PDC preliminary design review, which is also open to the public and slated for August of 2023. So now this is just a snapshot of the timeline as well. I just wanted to put this in here for your reference, kind of where we are in the process, design development, phase 1, lake restoration, beginning construction in summer of 2023. The daylighting design is slated to be complete in the winter of 2023. And then phase 2 construction is projected to begin in winter of 2025. So now I will pass it to Dana Taplin, who's going to go into some detail on the Metro North site and the easement that the ULURP action would be proposed for.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for giving us the chance to present this project. I'm going to say a little bit about the particular part of the project that is subject to this land use action, which is to acquire, as Amy was saying, to acquire an easement through Metro North's right of way so that the city can install and then maintain the closed conduit part of the hydraulic connection between Tibbetts Brook and Van Cortlandt Lake and Harlem River. So the easement would run from the beginning. See, this, of course, the whole thing is part of the old New York Central Railroad's Putnam division, right? So the greenway from north of Van Cortlandt Lake, Hester and Pirro's Mill Pond already exists. The part through the rest of the park and down through the CSX Railroad's part is the part that Amy's been showing us with those renderings. And then this part is going to be just a closed pipe. Some of it as far between 230th and 225th will be above ground. It says 2.5 feet high by 6 feet wide, a concrete box. And then below from 225th down to the point where it joins the existing sewer will be completely buried. At the bottom, at the southern end, as it says here, it turns to the west to cross underneath the rail yard tracks. These are not, by the way, the Metro North Hudson Line tracks. It's going to cross underneath the tracks that Metro North maintains for rail yard purposes, and enter into the existing sewer below the diversion, the interceptor diversion. Normally now, in dry weather on a nice dry day like today, all the flow from Tibbetts Brook, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think all the flow from Tibbetts Brook goes into this interceptor and down to the Wards Island wastewater treatment plant. And the flow from the brook is not wastewater, and it doesn't need treatment. So some of it, a good portion of it, is going to be through this project is going to be directly going into the Harlem River without adding to the burden of the wastewater treatment plant and reducing combined overflows. So I think we can advance the slide. Yeah, so the closed conduit is part of this whole Tibbetts Brook restoration between the lake and the Harlem River that operates as a stormwater conveyance system. It restores the hydraulic connection between Tibbetts Brook and the Harlem River. Of course, originally the Tibbetts Brook flowed into the Spite and Dival, and there's been a lot of engineering since then. But for the last 100 or more years, the brook has flowed through the Broadway sewer. So now it's going to be this open, partly open, mostly open brook, daylighted brook will follow what used to be the railway. The conduit ties into an outfall pipe downstream of the regulator, bypassing the combined sewer flow to the Wards Island. It's the technical term now is wastewater resource recovery facility. There'd be a tide gate so that it would prevent backflows of river water upstream into the system. And now we can advance the slide. So the easement it concerns 5 tax lots that are all Metro North property, MTA Metro North property, state property, that is, block 3264, lot 20, and so on and so forth. As you can see, the zoning is these are M districts. It says block 3238, lot 50 is adjacent to a commercial district. DEP seeks to acquire an easement for construction beginning in winter 25. So of course the easement is to allow us to build the conduit, and then of course allow the city to maintain it in the coming years. And this is a diagram that shows where the lots are. So yeah, the northerly part is block 3264, lot 20. There are 3 parcels or 3 tax lots within block 3238, and then one right along the river in block 3245. And so again, this is not to acquire it from Metro North, just to acquire an easement through this so that the city can install and maintain this closed conduit. And so this, of course, it's being an acquisition of real property interest between the city and the state. It's subject to the Uniform Land Use Review procedure. So we have had already an informational interest meeting, which is the first step with the Bronx office of the Department of City Planning. That was in February. We have our Hazen and Sawyer engineering team are helping us with the design, of course, and also to prepare the environmental review, the CEQR documents, and the land use application, Uniform Land Use Review application. We have just reinitiated the contract with the Bronx office of the Department of City Planning to begin to upload that ULURP application on their zoning application portal. We are presenting now to at least giving you an overview of the project right now, and have also done with Community Board 8, and we'll be getting in front of also the borough president and so on. And then, of course, once the ULURP is certified, the application is certified, hopefully in September, then the official clock begins, and all of the parties, including the community districts, community boards, get another look at the, as part of the ULURP process, they get an official review period. And so at this time, the anticipated completion of the acquisition is March 24, 2024. So that is about it. And I'd be happy to discuss, entertain any questions.
Okay, thank you so much. Very, very interesting. I have one question regarding the funding. Where is the funding coming from for this project?
Amy, do you have an easy answer to that?
So the project is it's required under consent decree for the long-term control plan. So the funding from the project is under the requirements for DEC to build this infrastructure for water quality improvements.
Is it state, city, federal?
It's city funding, I believe.
Okay. All right. Do we have, well, we have a couple of hands going up there. Okay, Toby Buford, go ahead.
I have 3 questions. My first question is Yonkers, because Tibbetts Brook is in Yonkers, are there discussions being had with them as well? 2, how will this affect the cleanliness of the Harlem River? Will this help it, hurt it, or will it remain the same? And 3, if you could just let us know what some of the acronyms are so we could get a better sense of what they mean, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Thanks, Toby. So your first question was whether or not we've been in conversations with Yonkers. This is a bit beyond the scope and extent of our project. I think that, there have been conversations about potential future phases of the project, but as far as DEP's concerned, the scope of this project is really from the Van Cortlandt Lake to 230th Street. And this is really to build this infrastructure, going into your second question, to improve water quality in the Harlem River. So under the state consent decree, we are required to develop a long-term control plan for citywide water quality improvements. This project is intended to meet those objectives, and it will reduce combined sewer overflow an acronym CSO, which we might have used, which is a mix of sanitary and stormwater that discharges into open water, into the Harlem River in this case, during wet weather events. So yes, substantial water quality improvements, about 220 million gallons a year of estimated reduction. And your third question, I can certainly go through the slides, and I think I sent, Effie might have sent the presentation, but I can just take a look and see where we didn't define any acronyms and make sure that that's in the presentation so you guys have it handy. But Toby, if there's anything that comes to mind that you need some clarification on, I can certainly answer that now.
ULURP is kind of a nasty one. That's
Yeah.
Uniform Land Use Review
Yeah, and the
Procedure.
CEQR.
That's-
That's the City Environmental Quality Review.
Okay,
Right. So it's subject to a state law, this State Environmental Quality Review Act, and the city of New York has its own procedures under the state act.
thank you so much.
All right, I noticed that there was a paved path, and I'm wondering if the path will be used by both bikers and walkers. Is it the same path?
Yes, it's the same path for both pedestrians and bike traffic. And I think, in some previous stakeholder engagement and community feedback we've received is that there's a big concern about e-bikes. And so to the extent that is practicable, we're installing bollards and other barriers to entry for those types of bike transit, but mainly, yes, pedestrian and bike.
Okay, so there will be somewhat of a separation then from the bikers from the walkers?
I think so, yeah, I think that is the plan.
And that would be great. Okay, are there any other questions from the committee? All right, AJ, go ahead, I see your hand up.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Hi, as a staunch advocate for restoring Marshall Loop Parkway's center medians and lost rivers, I think this looks lovely. It's like the High Line, but with water. I can't wait to rollerblade it and roller skate it. Great job. Just don't forget about us down on Marshall Loop when you're done here. Even in the lightest rains now, it floods. So the river is basically there. Just put it back. Thank you so much.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
All right,
Thanks for
any
your
other
comment.
questions that need to come up? Thank you so much for the excellent presentation. And I'm sure we'll be hearing from you again. Is there anything you need from us right now?
Not at this time, I don't think. We just wanted to sort of initiate the discussion and look forward to continued coordination.
Okay, it looks like a great project. Thank you again for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move the agenda since they don't need a motion or anything from us at this particular time. We'll go back to our questions regarding parks and recreation. We'll start with maintenance and summer staffing issues. I'm hoping that Joe will have some more information for us tonight as to how many seasonal workers we will be getting. Joe, are you?
Sure, I sure am.
Okay.
Hi, Barbara.
Hi.
So we currently have about two to three, it varies, permanent staff, there a little later at both WBO and St. James, right? And then it's good news and then sort of like bad news, but a lot of our seasonal employees were stepped up. Well, two of our best in seven were stepped up to supervisor for the pools. So we're losing two people there, and then some other employees were stepped up and sent out to other districts. We're getting those all filled, and then you should see about, 5 seasonals added to the roster besides the 3 to 2 each that are at WBO and St. James.
Just 5. And that's for
Yeah.
our whole district with all the
Mhm.
parks we have?
With all the parts, so 5, let's just 5 for right now, but I'm actually doing interviews tomorrow. We're having a hard time. If anybody has anybody that wants to work, go to the website, but having a hard time filling seasonal spots this year.
Oh, wow. And when will the seasonals begin their work?
No, we have our seasonals on the ground, but you know, the more we get,
Yeah, the
the
better
more
off
might come
it'll
to us. And then we have, I just want to fill you in, just like last year, we have a cutting crew that's servicing districts 7 through 14.
Oh,
We've been doing it for the last 3 years. Unfortunately, this year we only have 19 people on that crew. 16 that are gonna be trimming, but that's also for, you know, District 7 through 14. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then 14. Not Van Cortlandt. Van Cortlandt has their own.
all right. I noticed that Marshall Parkway is very overgrown at this point, and I think you know that we are having a ceremony at the monument on Saturday that CB7 is sponsoring. I know construction has been going on there by DOT, but is there anything you could do to try to improve the area around the monument before Saturday?
Absolutely.
Okay, that would be great if you could do that. And I have not seen any litter baskets. What's the story regarding litter
Yeah,
baskets? this
So our
summer?
baskets are coming in. Unfortunately, we're only getting, I don't know, I think the last number I heard was like 50, but that's for both District 7 and District 8. And that includes WBO, St. James, Riverbend, Aqueduct Walk, right? So you figure 25 for District 7, 25 for District 8. So it's not a ton of litter baskets, but it's what we got. So as we get them, we're gonna place them, we're gonna try to chain them and hopefully, you know, we chain them, but they get cut and taken a lot. But we're gonna chain them again.
That's not a lot, Joe, or the number of parks we have in the district.
No, everybody's in the same situation as us, around the Bronx. We're all kind of struggling with garbage cans.
Wow. All right, we have a couple of questions. Anybody from the committee have a question?
I'm sorry, where am I? Yes, this is.
Go ahead.
Joe, we were, wanted to ask a little bit about the process for renaming, the skateboard park after Doug Condit. Would you know what the process would be with Parks Department?
Send me an official email regarding the request,
Yes.
and then we can get the ball rolling.
Okay, good. Thank you. All right, I see Jean.
Oh, and
Hibbs.
I just want to, just 2 things that were brought up last meeting. The
Yes,
2 walls that were hit, we're still in talks with the insurance company. I think what's gonna end up happening is we're just gonna get them to give us the money for the labor that it costs to fix it.
Right,
We're gonna do it on our own.
oh, that
So
was the automobile accident, the drunken driving one?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
now,
yes.
you know, there was another accident about
Yes,
10 days
and-
ago. We
and we're
lost
dealing
3.
And unfortunately, we gotta go through the process with that as well. It becomes
Okay.
a little bit of a process. And then the other thing is that I did not forget about the historical sign at the monument.
Mhm.
It has to be printed. And there was like another monument, there was a mix up, I don't know, something happened with down at the sign shop over on, at 5 Borough, which is located on, what's the island? Where the Icon Stadium is, whatever, over there, by the Tribal Bridge. So we're waiting for the sign, but the sign, the order was put in, yes, Randall's Island. Thank you, Chad.
Okay, very good.
And Chad, and while I'm on the phone as well, Chad, were you ever able to look at that lot?
Which you're talking about, the one by Bailey and Cedric?
Yes.
Oh, I've been keeping my eye on that. In fact, I've even taken some additional pictures. So slowly but surely, they are dumping things over again. There's a
Yeah.
bicycle in there. So
It's such a shame, you know, it was so much work. Allison actually got New York Cares
Yeah,
involved, and they did a huge cleanup. Such a shame that it's getting dumped on again, but we did a huge cleanup there. So as long as you noticed that we did do
I
the cleanup.
did, and I
Okay.
thank you for your part. There happens to be a trailer right next to the gate, which I firmly believe is responsible for some of the dumping. Oftentimes I even see food remains by the trailer itself that
Well,
attracts.
unless we get some pictures of the guys dumping. I mean, I could let Pep know, and maybe they could try to, but
Yeah.
try to get them. So
Okay, we have a few questions. Jean Hill,
Oh.
go ahead.
Hi, Joe.
hi. Oh God.
You know why I'm here, Joe?
I know what
Something,
you're gonna
Joe.
say. Right by
Okay,
Tracy, right
Tracy
by the towers.
Towers.
Yes. It's
Okay.
all right. It's already overgrown.
No, it's the problem is because one of the kids was coming from school the other day and almost got hit by a car because they cannot see over those hedges.
All right, I
It's
gotta
bad
get it.
enough with the cars because with the cars, you can kind of back up a little bit and peek where the oncoming traffic is. But for the kids, they don't always think to do that. So they'll just step off that medium and, try to cross the street to go to Tracy. And one of the kids almost got hit by a car. So we really got to have that cut down.
Okay.
All right, Chad, you have a question?
Yes. Hi. Well, two questions. One of them, any update with the Fordham Landing Park down by the Deegan Expressway, as far as maintenance of the field or anything of that sort?
What do you mean? Like, give me a little more.
Oh, there's rubble on the field, and it's a lot of rough patches, old dirt, and
It's-
some of the vines are covering the gate. I'm just wondering if there's anything in play as far as bringing it back to life.
Isn't there a contract out on that, Joe, for Fordham Landing Park?
Did they bring a plan to us, or it's not even there
We
yet?
haven't
I don't-
seen it
I
as
don't
yet.
remember.
But I think there's something in the works.
Yeah, I believe that it was brought up that it
Yes,
was.
the
I think you're
rehab
right.
of the whole
But-
area.
Yeah, but in the meantime,
Yeah, they
I'll
want to use it.
in the meantime, I'll let Clinton know that the field isn't looking too good because they handed that over to Clinton, I was like, thank God that they gave it to Clinton. And I'm surprised though, because that league is very active.
Mhm.
And the gentleman that's in charge of the league, he really takes care of that field. So, but I'll talk to Clinton.
Okay, good, thank you.
Hey, another quick question. DeVoe does have a garbage can that has the light sensor that when it gets full, it sends out a message for it to be refilled. But
Yeah, the big belly.
oftentimes, yeah, the big belly. And oftentimes it's left in the open position with the red blinking light, and there's garbage dumped around it. So I'm just wondering if there's anything in play as far as looking at that. Maybe there's something wrong with it. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I gotta find out what happened. So I don't have any big bellies. I mean, it's in our community board, obviously, but I
Mhm.
don't have any big bellies that I handle personally.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if they put in a request to the vendor or if we're even still picking them up ourselves, if it got handed over to DSMY. I gotta check with Clinton on that because I don't have any, so I couldn't even tell you if it was a common issue or or if they had a repair out. I would know that if it was mine, but I don't know that.
Yeah, that the notifications actually, last I spoke to Clinton, he said it does go to him. So maybe we could ask him.
Yeah, we got to find out. We got to ask Clinton what's going
All
on.
right, I'm gonna move the question.
Thank you.
Toby, go ahead.
I just wanted, Joe, it's more of a comment for Aqueduct Walk on the Fordham side. It needs to be cleaned. And I see large pieces of furniture and things building up again. I just wanted to let you know that. And the
Fordham to 183rd or Fordham to Kingsbridge?
That's Fordham to Kingsbridge, and there's overgrown hedges, and so I wanted to let you know that because I know that's a a spot that you like to make sure you have information on. And there's the signs that I spoke to, that I mentioned last month. Is the
Yeah,
Vogue
the
Park
no
going to
scooter
get-
sign.
I'm sorry?
You're talking about the electric scooters?
Yes, is the Vogue Park going to get any? Or is that a
I
Clinton?
don't know.
thing?
I got that. That's a Clinton, but I could talk to him, because if we get them ordered, we'll just order them together, Clinton and.
Oh, okay, great. I
But he
did,
has part of the aqueduct as well.
yes, he does. And that, the other side going Fordham down to 183rd, they do have the black and yellow signs up, so that's good. And I'll walk that
Okay.
to see what it looks like, if it's in good condition. Thanks, Joe.
No problem.
Okay. All right, we'll move the questions on. Sirio, I see your hand up.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can
Okay.
hear you.
Yeah, Joey, how you doing, my good friend?
Not bad. The last time you texted me to call you, I called you back. You never called me back after that. But it's
Nah,
all
I
good.
didn't get
What's
it.
going on? What's going on?
The lights at the monument were not on. Maybe one was. I'm out there. I know you guys don't get there to 6:37, but when I'm out there, it's dark and there's no lights. The monument, World War I, baby.
World War One. All
Mhm.
right.
Can
Yeah,
you
no
handle
lights.
that for us, Joe?
Yes, I'm actually, while I'm on the phone with you, I'm sending out a.
I don't know if it's on a timer or how it's functioning. So I don't know how they set it off.
Okay. Thank you, Sirio, for bringing that up.
Yeah, I don't know if it has to do with light or does it have to do on a timer with a real time? Do you know by chance, Joe?
I don't have that.
I don't blame you. I agree with you. I agree.
All
Thanks
right.
so much.
We have another question. AJ, go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Joe, I'm back again asking you about pride flags, but this time the board has voted to put one up and have funded it. What is the process of actually putting it on the Bronx Victory Memorial? I don't know if the board's contacted you since then. Thank you.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything from the community board. I remember in the past you were talking about having them like along the parkway, but now you're saying at the memorial. They would have to get in contact with my commissioner like that. They haven't reached out to us yet.
Okay, they just voted last month.
Joe,
Thank-
that's what so we didn't select a location that could potentially be one of the locations. But the letter will it was meant for the commissioner of
Oh,
parks.
so you
that
sent it already?
we
You
were
sent it already?
directed. No, I will send it tomorrow. I'm still drafting it.
Okay.
But we were advised by the Bronx Borough Commissioner to address the letter to the commissioner,
Okay.
to Sue Donahue. So that's where the letter is going to go.
It's going to Sue Donahue.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So that's the city commissioner. So the borough commissioner told you to send it to the city commissioner.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, I understand. Okay, yeah,
Mhm.
she didn't keep me in the loop, but that's fine. Okay.
Thank you. Sorry for asking the wrong person. Thank you.
All right, we'll move the agenda. Deployment of PEP officers for the summer. Joe, do you have anything to do with that? I know in the past we've had a couple of PEP officers at DeVoe Park.
I don't know.
On a continual
What
basis.
is next month our last meeting?
Yes.
You want me to see if I could get Captain Sanchez on and he
Yes,
could.
that would be great, because I'm sure we're going to need them in the area over the summer months. So if you could do that, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll get Captain Sanchez. He'll give you the rundown because I don't know what he's gotten seasonally. And then as everybody knows, we get a lot of, all right, Toby. Yeah, absolutely. I'll get Clinton. We'll if I get Clinton, let's try to put him at the beginning of the agenda and you could ask him just about the two properties. Toby had mentioned it.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. And so you'll bring Clinton and you'll try to get somebody from PEP also, right?
Yeah, let's get and we'll talk before that, but we'll get them,
Okay.
make sure they're at the beginning of the meeting and then they can
Very
get
good. All right, we'll move the agenda. We asked for an update on some construction projects. We'll start with St. James Rec Center. Has anything started there that you know of, Joe?
I don't have any. I could look on the capital tracker. See.
The last I heard, I believe, bids were going out, but they didn't give a date for the start of construction.
Bronx. Let's see where they're at.
I'm sorry to interrupt. The Barbara was looked in an email. So the project is started on March 6th and it's scheduled to be completed by March of 2024.
March of 2024?
Yes.
Oh, that's a while. Okay, so it certainly will not be ready for most of the winter. Okay, thank you, Carla. Okay, all right, so move along. Frishfield, Joe, have you heard anything?
No, I'll look at that right now. Where's first? Maybe I'm on the capital tracker. It's not even up yet on the capital tracker. It must have not even started yet, really, with to be on the capital tracker. But
I know we had a preliminary design meeting over a year ago.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything. It's not even up on the capital tracker.
Can you check on it for us, please?
Yeah, I'm surprised it's not up here.
Yeah.
I'm on the site right now. St. James Park. I just looked real quick. I just looked at St. James Park, and the adjusted completion date is actually June. So
June of what year?
Of 2023.
Really?
That's what it says. That's what the capital tracker says. So I'm just going by whatever public information is.
Okay.
I'm literally reading it off the website, and then the completed construction date for the dog run at St. James Park is also June 2023. This is just public. This is just what's on the
But
website.
is it usually accurate?
No.
No.
I
Okay.
I wouldn't put my money on it.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay,
but that's what we got.
On or about. All right. Next item, the boiler at the Webster House. I see the truck there every day. When is it expected to be finished? And will we have staff there for the summer so that they could, do the parkway?
So I'm looking here. What was that? Marshall Parkway. Oh, look, wait, hold on. Before you go anywhere, hold on. Frishfield. Where is it? It's in design. It's not even done with design yet. So, yeah, it's not done with design. It's in design. The Marshall Parkway. Hold on. Marshall Bensonhurst Senior Recreation Center Parkway, boiler and heating. Hold on. So it's in construction. They say it's 77% complete. And where's the updated projection? July 2023. That's what it says.
Okay, so maybe you'll use it over the summer?
Yeah, let's see how it goes, right? I mean, it's all about when they finish.
Okay, all right. Any other questions on construction projects before we move the agenda?
Oh,
Chad?
no, wait, hold on.
on-
Because I don't want to give out false information. So
Okay.
the St. James Recreation HVAC and boiler, right?
Mhm.
It says procurement, that the procurement completion date is supposed to be June. So it
Oh,
didn't
okay,
even
so
go into
maybe the
construction yet.
original date that Carla gave us, March of 2024.
Carla, I'm sorry for even butting in on that. I was given fake news.
Yeah.
No, that's
It's
okay.
more
I
realistic.
apologize. I was because I'm just going through it. So
Okay. All right,
while I have this up, do you have any other in mind that?
any other questions regarding construction projects? All right, I see two hands up there. Chad, do you have a question on a construction project?
Yeah, I have two, but they're not related. So I was just wondering, any movement on the Vole Park getting the sidewalks and the curbs repitched? I know that's been on our list for a minute.
I don't know if that was ever funded by anybody.
No.
I don't remember that being,
No, I believe we were told in the budget to consult your council person to get funding.
Okay,
you know
Okay.
what, while we're on this topic, if anybody, if the board wanted to, if the committee wanted to meet me at Harris Field, the synthetic turf is absolutely destroyed. Harris Field is in desperate need of capital.
Yes,
Well,
you
it-
told us that last year, Joe, and we did put it in our budget, but what comes back most of the time with our capital projects is consult your council person.
Yeah. I'm bringing it up again because
Yeah.
I actually went for a walk out there with with our new regional manager. And it was like, it's just, I mean, we do what we can just to keep it like alive, but it's
Mhm.
like almost past keeping alive.
Isn't Parks afraid of injuries on the field like that?
I mean, but we patch it when we can, like we patching it, it just needs help. It needs help. We're keeping it alive, but it needs some help.
Okay, all right, we'll keep it in
A
our
lot of
budget.
help.
then.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah, my second question.
yes, go ahead, Chad.
So since the St. James Rec is, if I heard you correctly, is not due to get started until May of 24, is that what I heard?
No, I believe Carla said
No.
maybe, yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's definitely not 2023.
No, it's,
Okay,
she
so-
said March of 2024.
So, okay, so I don't know if you remember, the membership for parks at Marshallu, they had them for free for a limited time. And it was in part, maybe I'm getting this wrong, because St. James was not available. I'm just wondering if free memberships for those who can't use St. James Rec could be revisited for someone who lives in my section of the woods.
If Sarah's on the call, she might be able to better,
I think you're referring to Williamsbridge Oval, Chad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I think
what I meant.
the free admission was during COVID, if I'm not mistaken, or right after COVID. If Sarah's on.
It was.
Sarah's on, she'll give us some information. Go ahead, Sarah. Sarah? We can't hear you. I think she's having some technical difficulties.
Does that work?
Yes, that's better.
Okay, so in what was it, 2022, I guess, they gave it for the year. They had free memberships, but that ended last year. So I
Okay.
don't know if they actually have any plans because of St. James, but normally the memberships are just good for any other rec center in the city. So I haven't heard anything. I can send an email, but I kind of would think that they would just say, unfortunately, it had to close and there's other
Close.
rec centers
Okay,
that they can be used.
thank you. All right, I see Toby's hand up and I see AJ's hand up. Toby, go ahead, and then AJ.
Okay, so what we could do about Harris Field, and I'll bring it up, we could do a participatory budgeting project for Harris Field, and maybe it will be funded. Okay?
The only problem with that, Toby, is that the councilman for that area doesn't do the participatory budgeting.
Okay, so
So we can't do that.
all right.
All
Okay.
right, your area, I think, yes, but not, Harris. Okay, AJ, go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Joe, would you have any information? I believe it's called the Marshallu Greenway. They were gonna come repave it before the bike lanes came, but they never did, especially with that car going down the ramp, destroying the pillar. It's all torn up from the ramp down. Thank you.
I haven't heard anything regarding them coming out to repair the greenway or
Can you
main.
sorry, I believe it was it's something at one of the meetings, you said it was tied up with something in Brooklyn. Once they would finish the one in Brooklyn, they would come out here. They just never came to do it. Can you check your little machine thing you were looking at before, if there's anything in there for that? Thank you.
For the Greenway itself. Now, don't get me wrong, but don't quote me on, isn't the Greenway a state? Hold on.
Yes, but I believe there was a project, I think AJ is right, for along Marshalloux that was going to be done through parks.
Yes, ma'am. It was differentiated that that's the one in the park and the DOT would have the bike lanes outside of it. There was just no further
Right.
information and the bike lanes came and kind of overshined
And
that.
we never saw it, which is very interesting. So I will also check AJ to see whatever happened to that project. And that was along the north side of the parkway, if I can recall.
Yes, there's usually a lot of cars parked there as well on the actual Greenway. So the bike lanes now, I believe, are being connected down into the street, but the Greenway itself should be repaired. Thank you.
All right. Okay, before we move on, we have Serio's hand up.
Yeah, I keep hearing about this Harris Field there. Can we pass the hat around to the ball leagues that use the field? I mean, I can see us putting up the money for the playground, but I mean, they can, why not reach out to the Yankees? They can afford to fix up that field. You know, we got future players. Let's do it.
Okay, good suggestion. All right, one other question, Joe. How long should we wait before the pillars, there are 4 now on Marshalloux, will be repaired?
I would like to see it done before the end of the summer. I want to give you that big of a window because everybody's going nuts right now, right? The shops are real tied up in the pools right now. It's kind of like we got to settle right now. The waters are very muddied. Getting ready for the insanity coming our way. So
Okay, and I'm assuming that it would be an in-house project.
that's what because it's getting so complicated, like with contractors and it'll take forever. So we're trying to go down the do it ourselves route.
Okay, very good. Thank you. All right, we'll move the agenda to our Memorial Day flagging, which is going to be held by the Veterans Committee of our Community Board on Saturday at 11 o'clock. Everybody, of course, is invited, and I'm sure the area will be spotless, thanks to
Yes, it
Joe
will
and
be,
his crew. Anything else you want to add, Chad, about the ceremony?
Just 2 things. For those who intend to show up, if you could get there like around 10:45, just so that we have an idea of who's going to show. I intend for the event not to go past an hour. The last time we had it, it ran around 45 minutes. And the other one, for the last part, be prepared to sing.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. All right, we'll move to reports from our recreation centers. I know Sarah is on from Williamsbridge Oval. Sarah, what do you have for us tonight?
So tomorrow with Eric Dinowitz, they're having the Family Day event. So there's going to be inflatables and like cotton candy, arts and crafts. So that's for everyone from 4 to 7 p.m. We also have multiple Mother's Day events on Saturday in the afternoon.
lost
They're
you.
celebrating. Oh,
Hello?
hello?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Oh, I don't know what this is. And Saturday afternoon, we're having a Mother's Day event. And on Monday morning at 11 a.m., we're doing Mother's Day karaoke, really geared toward our seniors. We also have our fitness classes happening. Many are happening outside, so anyone can join us for those. And we have our soccer team practicing Wednesdays and Fridays at 4 o'clock and games on Saturdays.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have anybody on from St. James Recreation Program? Yes,
Barbara, I have a question for Sarah. Just
go ahead, Betty.
Sarah, what's happening for the summer? Just to, we're looking at grandkids going into some kind of programs. Want to know what the Oval is offering for the summer?
So we'll have the summer sports experience program again, which is different sports throughout the day. It's not quite a camp because they wouldn't like stay all day,
Mhm.
but there'll be some morning sessions and afternoon, and we'll have also some arts and crafts, through different days. And through the month of July, we're celebrating it's a National Parks and Rec Month, so there'll be different activities each day for that.
Okay.
Once we get an official schedule, we'll send it out. But we have a
Thank
lot of concerts and things happening as well with partners.
Yeah, I was surprised. I attended the Comedy of Errors, the mobile on Saturday. It was wonderful.
Oh,
It was
great.
incredibly wonderful. A bilingual version of Comedy and Errors that I wish they would be able to show it again. It was just wonderful, wonderful experience. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Okay, do we have any other questions relating to Williamsbridge Oval's Rec Center? I see your hand, AJ.
Yes, ma'am. Hi, Miss Sarah. If you could just do a couple more skate events. And I know a couple of the skaters, I heard it before, would like to rename the skate park at Oval after Mr. Doug. I believe his last name was Condit. Would you approve of that? Like, how do we start getting about that? Thank you.
Yes, that was brought up earlier in the meeting, Sarah, that we're working on that.
Oh, that would be great. I don't have anything to do with naming stuff. Obviously, that'd be higher up, but I can start letting other people know.
That would be great.
Oh,
Good.
And skate events, I'll put my email in the chat. Basically, we normally do our events based on what kind of staffing we have, and I haven't had anyone who actually even skates. So we need some partnerships to make something like that happen, or if people know how to do things, I'd be very interested in learning how to, what kind of
Yes, ma'am.
event they're
I know
looking
there's a BMX guy that's there. He's a big YouTuber. He's in the tennis courts like almost every day. And you have a lot of the YouTubers in the skate park doing skateboard tricks. But there's people in the park that know how to skate. We love it over there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Do we have anybody from St. James? I know even though they don't have the rec building, they do activities outdoors. No? Okay, so we'll move the agenda. Our next meeting is scheduled for June 14th, and we will have someone from PEP as well as Clinton, who manages DeVoe Park, since we've had a few questions that Joe wasn't able to answer. Any other items you would like to have brought up? I see a hand, Syria.
Yeah, it's a possibility that PEP may also be at the 52nd council meeting too. So we can use a lot of park people to come and represent us.
We have to let them know that we have problems at this end of the Bronx. They're stationed in the east end, and it takes them a while to get over here. So I wish we could get a substation. I know I'm working with Board 8 to see if we could get a substation, at least at Van Cortlandt Park. It would mean they would be a lot closer to our area than from coming across from Pelham Bay Park. So we'll see what we can do. Toby, you have a hand up?
Yes, I just wanted to make everyone aware that I did see PEP in DeVoe Park today. So I guess they're getting in position. Okay.
Very good.
Us aware of that. Okay. And it's looking good. DeVoe Park is looking good.
Okay, that's
Okay.
nice to hear. Any other concerns, questions, whatever, before we close? All right. I'd like to thank everybody for their participation tonight. Joe, we always appreciate your being with us. I hope to see many of you out on Saturday at the memorial. And hopefully we will be able to get a little more information from PEP next month. Okay, can I have a
Good night,
motion?
all.
Good night. A motion to close the meeting?
Motion to close, Betty.
Okay, a second.
Toby,
Seconded by Gwen.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Happy
Aye.
Mother's Day!
Thank you.